said this was going to happen. The total war against third parties and independents is in full swing. It's not only is it CNN, it's MSNBC, it's CBS, it's everybody. Everybody's talking about it. No one can deny it, that third parties are viewed as a threat to the Democratic Party. Now, I've made it very clear my criticisms of third-party candidates and third parties of this election cycle. However, the one caveat that I can take away, that we all could take away, is potentially we could very well witness maybe one or two of the candidates, and ideally, maybe all of the candidates, and I say this ideally because that might not happen, all the third-party candidates on the debate stage. Now, this is America, obviously. This is a two-party system, and the media, the two-party system, are going to do everything in their power to make sure that no third-party candidate can be on the debate stage. But Americans, 50% of this population, which identifies itself as independents or either that, no longer interested in voting, do not want to see the repeat of the 2020 classic, two old men fighting over a cold bowl of soup. Now here comes the sequel to it, two old men fighting over a cold bowl of soup, the electric boogaloo, Trump versus Biden. No one wants to see it. No one's excited about it. Now, to be clear here, Trump does have an enthusiastic voting base. Democrats, however, what once remained their coalition is now gone. And people are looking for alternatives, be it through RFK Jr., Dr. Cornel West, Dr. Jill Stein, the Green Party, or the Libertarian Party. These are the options in which Americans are looking for, and many Americans are considering how third parties are a more viable solution. And while many are not fully aware of just how corrupt the system is and how much challenges third parties have to face off against, corporate media now is on the warpath. CNN discussing the impact of third parties in the general elections and if Democrats should be worried. So here comes the propaganda. Here comes the full-on attack against third parties, because third parties now are deemed the threat, the danger to Democrats, to which I have to say, good, fine, great, more power to third-party candidates. Could they have done a far better job? Ideally, yes. But this should show you how scared corporate media is in regards for their Democratic friends.
And this CNN poll in Pennsylvania also shows that when third-party candidates are included in the poll, Trump takes a slight lead over Biden, with independent candidate Robert Kennedy Jr. picking up 16%. So, Charlie, should Democrats be worried?
When I look at this, I smile and laugh. I think this is absolutely outstanding. I think it's great seeing that the Democrats are losing their voting base. I think it's great seeing that the Democrats are realizing that they have given the middle finger to progressives and independents. And I, for one, will be voting independent and third party, not only for president, but for all the other offices available too. Now, I've done that in 2016. I've done that in 2018. I've done that in 2020. I did it in 2022. And oh my goodness, gracious, cretaceous, surprise, surprise, I am going to do it again in 2024 because I don't believe in the Democratic Party. I find them to be an absolutely disgusting party, and click, copy, paste. I feel the same way about the Republican Party. I will not support the two-party system, and I will be consistent on it as I've always been on this show.
About the third-party candidates playing a spoiler for Biden.
Well, the Democrats are going full scorched earth against these small party, third-party candidates. They're, on the one hand, Democrats are arguing that we need to protect and save democracy. That's why we have to stop Trump. And then there's
save democracy right here. Save democracy. Hold on. You know what? If we're going to do this right, we're going to do this properly. Acting 101 in 3, 2, 1. We got to save democracy. We got to stop Trump because Trump, the orange man, triggers my feelings. First, you can't spoil something that's already rotten. And number two, my vote and your vote goes to the person that earned your vote. So Biden and Trump are not entitled to my vote or your vote. They have to earn it. And also, Democrats, if you're so big and bad, if you're so tough, this is how you deal with a bully. If you're so big and bad and tough, why are you picking up people smaller than you? Why are you so scared? Are you as strong as you say you are? Because you wouldn't be doing what you're doing if you weren't so afraid. You're picking on somebody because you think they're smaller than you and you can push them around, but when more people start standing up, you start crying. Democrats are the bully, and it's the truth. And if you don't like it, Too bad.
Saying they're doing everything they can to prevent these third-party candidates from getting on the ballots. In other words, in order to save democracy, we need a little less democracy. That seems to be their message, because a lot of voters are simply not very satisfied with Joe Biden. Let's be honest. I mean, a lot of people who voted for Joe Biden in the last election didn't vote for him because they loved him. They voted for him because they couldn't stand Donald Trump. And if there's more than one non-Trump candidate on the ballot, well, then that means that the anti-Trump vote can go a number of different ways. And that's why the Democrats are literally freaking out over these small party candidates. And No Labels has not yet announced a candidate. They may or may not have one. But between RFK Jr., Cornel West, Jill Stein, the Democrats are really panicking, and I think they probably should.
All right, Malcolm, what do you think? Panic among Democrats?
Listen, this is what I think. You know, to quote Succession, these are not serious people. And
don't you dare ever, corporate media, quote Succession. You guys are not serious people. Okay? You are not. No, corporate media, I love you, but you are not serious people. All right. It takes a lot of courage and power to actually run as a third-party candidate in a system that is designed not only at the state level, but at the federal level to deny people the right to choose. We're the only global superpower, a quote-unquote republic, that touts freedom and democracy and liberty, but yet we give the American people the illusion of choice.
I think that every single day we get closer to November.
Oh, and by the way, remember that he said that they're not serious people. Remember, this is how corporate media views you, the viewing audience. I know many of you are independents, be it green, libertarian, socialist, non-affiliate. He just said, like, third parties aren't serious people. That's how he views you as third party supporters and independents, not serious. So if that's what you're saying, fine, great. You have convinced my audience and myself and anyone else that's maybe considering third party more, once again, the fact that we should not be associated with the two-party system. Thank you. Now you're going to come crawling and begging us for votes. We'll get on your knees a little bit harder. Remember that he said that.
This is what I think. You know, to quote Succession, these are not serious people. And I think that every single day we get closer to November, we need to be crystal clear. The next president of the United States will be the twice impeached guy who's at Mar-a-Lago, or will be Joe Biden. And I think voters are, every single day, that message is going to be made clear to people. And also, I think it's resonating. I think folks understand that 4 years ago at this time, you know, we were all trying to understand this pandemic, and we had a president that was suggesting that people inject bleach, or that everything was just going to be fine, that he was just going to wish this away. And then we have Joe Biden, who came in after that mess and rebuilt our economy. Our economy is the envy of the world, millions of jobs created. We have a president who has made it clear he's focused every single day on the American people. And we have Donald Trump, who has made it clear he's focused every single day on himself. And so as we get closer to November, I think the only thing that matters in this election is going to become clear. Do you want a president who does not believe in democracy, who does not respect the right to choose, who wants to cut Social Security, or do you want a president in Joe Biden who will restore Roe, who's going to build on this record of legislative success? Every single American is going to have to answer that question. And I think a majority of Americans are going to choose Joe Biden, as they did 4 years ago. He's the only person to beat Donald Trump, and he's going to beat him again.
All right.
Oh, yes, because we got to stop Trump. Trump's such a bad man. He triggers me. He hurts my feelings. So it's CNN. Hey, look, it's our fantastic friends at ABC, the network owned by Disney, Mickey Mouse. I own all your favorite properties, and I'm ruining them all. Kathleen Kennedy, take it away for Star Wars.
About the No Labels movement. There's been so much discussion about their plans to get a bipartisan third-party ticket, but it seems like they're having a hard time finding a candidate. What's going on?
Yeah, there was this movement, always speculation of who are they going to get. They haven't been able to do it yet, and here's the problem with that. Because they've been rejected by so many different politicians, whether it's from the right or the left, they're now facing a deadline of just when a candidate can actually be on the ballot. To actually be competitive, they have to have a candidate to just be able to compete.
To actually get
across
the ballot
so
access
many-
that allow them to be have an impact on the race.
Exactly.
So they're talking about no labels. Now, I made it very clear how I view no labels. They are not serious. It is just a Republican, Democrat, centrist think tank. That's all what they are. It's all what they are. They're nothing else. Do not fall for that trap in thinking that no labels is serious. They're not. Okay.
Exactly.
And yet, Donna, Democrats were for a long time really worried about no labels. Maybe you're more worried about Cornel West right now, or maybe Jill Stein again. And the DNC is launching this effort to try to keep these candidates or challenge their efforts to get on the ballot. Bobby Kennedy Jr.
Well, look, there are technical issues involved in getting on the ballot. We all know that. So if you don't make the deadline, don't have the appropriate number of signatures, of course you have citizens in those states that will.
This is the DNC. This isn't citizens in those states.
And let me just speak up for the DNC if this is their effort.
Yeah.
2016, we slept through those third-party candidates.
Yeah, this is Don in Brazil saying, you better start getting ready to go after those third-party candidates. Start coming after them. Be afraid. Be afraid. Don't let anyone bully you. In fact, I encourage you to spread the gospel and truth of, I'm going to give you two options on this one. And here's the thing. You, my viewing audience, can come up to your own conclusions, because at the end of the day, on election night, it is your choice. If you want to vote Democrat, fine. Republican, fine. Libertarian, fine. Green, fine. Independent, so be it. If you don't want to vote, then don't vote. It's fine. And nothing on election night in November, you cast your vote and then that's it. You cannot control something that you cannot control. You go on and live your best day. Enjoy it as best as you can. I know how I'm going to enjoy it, right? But spread the gospel. If you're going to vote third party, tell people and enlighten people about their other choices. They don't owe Biden or Trump anything. And corporate media realizes that the bullying tactics that they used to use aren't working, and they shouldn't work. I am not afraid of a Trump presidency. What I am afraid of is the American people still being silent and obedient and complicit to a two-party system that will not care about you no matter who sits on the throne.
And look at the results. Whether it's the 537 in Florida that Ralph Nader competed in, or Jill Stein in 2016 in Michigan, Wisconsin, and Pennsylvania. So yes, focus on these third-party candidates because they could draw from Mr. Biden.
What do you think? I mean, you've expressed frustration with Republicans. You are a Republican. I mean, is there an appeal here now?
Well, I think there's a great appeal. I hear from all kinds of constituents, not just in Colorado, but across the country, that these are the two worst presidential candidates in modern history. And so there is a great frustration and appetite for a third-party candidate. Do they stand a chance? Absolutely not. But can they draw away from some of the candidates depending on which side of the spectrum they come from? Absolutely.
Right.
This is a deadly situation for Democrats because in 2016, Trump got 46%, 2020, he got 47%. He is locked in at those numbers. And any introduction of a third party, Jill Stein's now on the ballot in Wisconsin.
Bobby Kennedy is going to announce his running mate on Tuesday.
Right. And also, so the Trump vote's locked. You've got a president that's 25% right track, and now you're going to introduce people to other options.
Okay. All right, we're.
Oh my goodness, and I wanted to play that out because I'd be pausing 24/7. But listen, the American people need another choice. This is the whole idea of a democracy, of a republic, at least in theory. At least that's what I was taught. And if the Democrats are so big, bad, and strong, well, why don't you follow through with any of your policies? Why not, instead of giving the middle finger to your voting base, you actually follow through with your progressive policies? But oh, wait, you didn't. You didn't do that because you kept, like any kind of abusive partner, you kept on spitting in the face of your voting constituents. A woman's right to choose died under a Democratic administration. The border crisis and the migrant cities failing, sanctuary cities failing, happening under a Democratic administration. Kids are still in cages under a Democratic administration. Ongoing horrific wars that could lead to the sequel that we all been dreading, World War III, happening under a Democratic administration. Unchecked political corruption still happening under a Democratic administration. Folks, the unstable economy that everyone said that Trump was going to lead, happening under a Democratic administration. No Medicare for all, no student debt forgiveness, no investing into our infrastructure, nothing for the American people. And yet somehow we need to be frightened because, oh no, Trump. Let's see what our fantastic friends at Fox News have to say. Hey, Fox News, take it away.
Well, Democrats are in a total panic that a third-party candidate like RFK Jr. could spoil Joe Biden's reelection. The DNC is said to be building a crack team of operatives and lawyers to squash the contenders like a bug, whether it's through dirty opposition research, hello Christopher Steele, or challenging their access to the ballot. Former Biden mouthpiece Jen Psaki says the candidates pose the biggest...
Hey, that's not family friendly. Don't call her a mouthpiece. You get out of here, Fox News. It's supposed to be more elegant.
...threat to Biden. These third-party candidates are a huge problem, and there's a number of them. If you look at RFK Jr., it's the name recognition issue. This is one of the biggest threats to Joe Biden being reelected. RFK Jr. is also getting on the nerves of the liberal media, the candidate recently declaring the New York Times is a, quote, an instrument of the Democratic Party in this tense interview. Watch.
70% of the people in this country do not want a contest between Trump and Biden. The New York Times is not going to allow those people to get those Americans who don't want to see a rerun of this contest. Don't you think they deserve something from the New York Times? The Democratic is essentially an instrument of the Democratic Party.
So, Jesse, it's interesting that the Party of Democracy has been filing all these lawsuits to keep RFK Jr. off of the ballot for people to vote.
I mean, are you shocked, Katie? These people will stop at nothing. They're taking people's money. They're taking people's homes. They're not even giving this guy Secret Service protection. The CIA framed Trump as a traitor. What else are they? I mean, this is nothing. This is tiddlywinks. Where are they going to have a
tiddlywinks, dude? Seriously? Come on, man. Come on. Fox News, I love you, but sometimes you're forcing me to say that you're not serious people. Tiddlywinks. Tiddlywinks. Put that on a t-shirt.
A couple lawyers try to keep him off the ballot. So what? They arrested their opponent. Yeah. That's nothing. They're putting this guy's life in danger. They're putting Trump's life in danger. The Democratic Party does not have any rules anymore. Anything goes. They can call you Hitler. They can smear you as a Nazi. They can frame you. They can plant evidence. They can take everything that you've ever worked for. If I were the Democrats, I'd be scared because he's a threat, RFK Jr. He's peeling votes away from Joe Biden, and they have to do whatever it takes. Whatever it takes, Katie. Look at her eyes. She's capable of anything.
So she had those glasses on, disguise. Jessica, do you want to respond to the accusations being lodged at your...
That I'm demonic? No.
Oh, come on, guys. Can't you all get along? You're all friends, right?
I'll let that one go for today. But third-party spoilers are a problem for both parties. If you go back to the 90s, Ross Perot, H.W. Bush would have had a very different life if Ross Perot hadn't run.
And Ross Perot got Secret Service protection.
Way to change the subject.
What about Joe Biden losing as a result of this? Because the polling shows that actually RFK pulls more from
some of it.
Trump.
Some of it shows that he does hurt Trump as well, and there's crossover. I understand, but what you're seeing play out, and I think it is completely warranted, is PTSD from 2016 with Jill Stein. If you look at the margins in Wisconsin and in Michigan and Pennsylvania, Hillary Clinton, and there are a number of reasons that she ended up losing the election, but Jill Stein being in the race is one of them. And
it always comes down to Jill Stein. Somehow she's responsible for Hillary Clinton. Hillary Clinton, who had everything working for her. The DNC establishment, the DNC was doing everything it could to ensure that she would win, especially in 2016. And even Bernie Sanders, the cuck, the nutless wonder, at the height of his popularity, allowed it to happen. It's not that he was shocked by it. It's that he allowed it to happen. And even running against Trump, she lost. So somehow it's Dr. Jill Stein's fault that Hillary Clinton, who had everything working for her, got farted in the face by the orange boogeyman. Well, too bad, so sad, Hillary Clinton and Hillary Clinton supporters. Hillary ran a piss-poor campaign. And the only reason why Biden won is and it was by the skin of his teeth, by the way, his dentured teeth, by the way. People were just triggered by Donald Trump. That's it. But now, it's not working anymore. And they have to use the trial and true method of using fear tactics. I like how I'm pausing her at the right time. She does kind of look a little demonic right there because Democrats are triggered by third parties. They're triggered by independents. They feel entitled to your vote and they want you to be afraid. They're that abusive partner who realized, you're leveling up. That abusive partner has lost their cash cow. How many times, not only last year, but this year, did all of you get messages from the Democratic Party of them asking you for money? Type 1 for Kit. The Democratic Party only sends me important messages when they need to. And you know what? They're serious people, you awful man. Type 2, they send it to me all the time. F you, Bernie, for being a cuck and giving out our emails to the Democratic Party. I am not going to give them one single red cent. Stop asking me for money. Stop asking me for money. Stop asking me for money. I wonder how many 2s will get in the chat. I wonder.
RFK Jr., it's interesting. Obviously, the anti-vax stuff is way on the other end of this, but has this Green Party history, right? Or like Green Agenda history and was a great climate activist. The accusations about the New York Times, though, are completely unfounded. And we've talked about this a few times before. Democrats do not think that the New York Times is on our side and can point to a number of stories going back to the Hillary Clinton server story, Uranium One. You even look at the polling and how they cover it. The New York Times Siena poll, for instance, we did a whole 2 days, right, of cycle on the New York Times Siena poll showing that Trump was doing so much better with Black Americans, with Gen Z voters, that he was somehow within, I think it was a couple points with female voters. And then the breathless coverage of how Biden is too old for this. The Ezra Klein
Mastermind Hour. Only a very elite handful of people will know what you're referencing. And you know what? I love you for it, man. Daria did not age well. And she sold out. She sold out, man.
That Ezra Klein is at the New York Times. That essay turned into multiple news cycles about Democrats are coming around. They understand that Joe Biden can't do this. That's all our, quote, beloved New York Times. And I'm sorry for RFK Jr. that he doesn't know that there's tape of him talking about being anti-vaccine, talking about policies that are completely out of step with the Democratic Party, to the point that his own family wants to do St. Patrick's Day at the White House and doesn't want to be around him. And they're only going to be upping their campaign against him. And not because we're in a cult, but because he doesn't represent our values.
If you think the New York Times is not nice to Democrats, you should see what they do to Republicans. But RFK's strategy has been not to use the mainstream media, Greg. It's been to go to alternative sources to get more support, even though he has high name ID.
Well, a couple of points. Jessica Perot did get 19% of the vote, but he didn't get a single electoral vote. So that's something to ponder.
Exactly. Thank you, Fox News, for being the only reasonable ones there. The only reasonable ones. Because Perot, Dr. Jill Stein, Ralph Nader, they didn't win any electoral college votes. And in case you're new to this, to our viewing audience overseas, you beautiful people, shout out to all of you, no matter where you're at in the world. You guys are beautiful. You guys and gals. In America, popular vote means nothing. We have an antiquated system called the Electoral College, where the American people do vote, then whoever wins said state gets the Electoral College votes. And then we have people in positions of power then select who will be president. Not the American people. That's an illusion of choice, but that's American freedom. I'm vomiting in my brain just even saying that. I want to pull this up here because now, our friends from MSNBC. So we went from CNN, ABC, Fox News, and now BSDNC discussing the fear that Latinos will not follow orders, wouldn't choose Trump, but instead a third-party candidate. So not only will they not vote for Trump, but maybe not even vote Democrats, but they're going to probably vote third party. Let's go ahead and talk about this.
While hosting the 11th hour this week, I was surprised when MSNBC contributor Maria Teresa Kumar told me her biggest fear was not that Latino voters would choose Trump over Biden. Rather, her fear is that they would choose a third-party candidate. Reuters,
and you know what that means, right? They're going to say, if you vote third party, you're still voting for Trump. Double dose.
Seem to echo those concerns, reporting early scenarios show a third-party candidate is likely to take more votes from Joe Biden than from Donald Trump. Keep in mind, the most prominent third-party candidate, Robert F. Kennedy Jr., is officially on the ballot in just one state, Utah, and claims to have qualified in 3 others, according to his campaign. Other third-party candidates like Cornel West and Jill Stein are expected to garner some votes, and No Labels, which is focusing on putting together a unity ticket, says that ticket will be on the ballot in 18 states. They have yet to field candidates for said unity ticket. Joining me now, Maria Teresa Kumar, President and CEO of Voto Latino and MSNBC contributor, and Cornell Belcher, pollster, Democratic strategist, and MSNBC political analyst. Thank you both very much for coming back to the Sunday show. All right, Maria Teresa, I invoked your name. So why are you so concerned that Latino voters would go for a third-party choice or could go for a third-party choice?
Because everyone's tired of the shit. There, I said it.
Jonathan, first of all, I wish I was on set with both of you. You guys look so dapper, as always. No, but in all seriousness, one of the things that Voto Latino, we are in the business of not just understanding polls for the poll's sake, but how are people's behavior shaping up? And one of the things that we're learning is that Latinos don't quite understand the totality of what Biden's agenda has done for them. And so they are susceptible, especially younger voters on TikTok and Instagram, this idea that if you don't like either candidate, perhaps you do third party. But let's be clear, a vote for third party is basically a de facto vote for Donald Trump.
I knew it! Freaking knew it! Uh-oh, CIA's coming. Gotta fix that light. Okay, light's not working. I hit the table so hard, the light went out. There we go. And there will be light. I knew it! I knew it. I freaking knew it. A de facto vote. De facto vote for third party is a de facto vote for Trump. Or wait, be more precise. A vote for third party is a vote for Trump. If you vote third party, you'll vote for Trump. You can't vote third party. None of you people do it. What do you mean, you people? You people. Latinos, follow orders. Latinos, follow orders. Black people, follow orders. White people, follow orders. Women, follow orders. Everybody, follow orders. I paused her at a perfect time. She's like, you shut up, Kit. You don't tell the people to vote third party. Oh, man, wow. I really paused her at the wrong time. I feel like she's staring into my soul. Do not comply. Do not fall in line. Let's listen to this again. Once again, I was proven correct.
We are in the business of not just understanding polls for the poll's sake, but how are people's behavior shaping up? And one of the things that we're learning is that Latinos don't quite understand the totality of what Biden's agenda has done for them. And so they are susceptible, especially younger voters on TikTok and Instagram, this idea that if you don't like either candidate, perhaps you do third party. But let's be clear, a vote for third party is basically a de facto vote for Donald Trump. And when you
don't fall for that trap. Don't let, I better not see anyone in my viewing audience get bullied by Vote Blue no matter who. You push them right the hell back. And I want to hear in the comments section or people typing, well, 2 wrongs don't make a right. No. Heartland Media says you push right back. 2 wrongs make a right.
look at how Latinos favor Donald Trump, they simply don't. They recognize that it wasn't just his rhetoric, but his policies and his dangerous rhetoric that translated to real consequences when it came to the El Paso massacre, when it came to family separation. And so the reason that we saw Biden go into Arizona, and we're going to see him go deep into Pennsylvania, talking to Latinos as well, is because he recognizes that now that he is on the eve of an election, he has to demonstrate with receipts what he has done for the community. Mm-hmm. And one of the things that they're going to be looking for, Jonathan, it's not just student loan forgiveness. It's not just lowering the cost of insulin. They're going to start looking at how is the president talking about immigration reform as it relates to their loved ones, those individuals that have been here for 10, 20 years, who are essential workers, who are farm workers, who are DACA recipients. Is he going to start recognizing their need to be safeguarded in the American fabric?
And Maria, let me get you one more question to you before I come to Cornell. Do you think that the ad that we just showed at the top of this segment?
Hold on, whatever, man. And I'm seeing a couple other people saying, "Did this lady just call Latinos stupid?" The answer is corporate media has been calling everybody stupid. So the answer is, why? Yes. Corporate media has. They've been doing this to the American people. All 300 plus million of you beautiful guys and gals, men and women, all of you. They've been calling you stupid for quite some time. They want you smart enough to run the machines, but dumb enough never ask any questions. Just follow orders and comply.
Do you think it will help blunt the potential threat of third-party candidates?
I would encourage the president to talk more about what he's delivered for the Latino community, for the American public.
Okay. What have you delivered there, Biden? What exactly has Biden delivered? Hey, Jack, somebody crapped my pants.
Is they need to recognize that the reason that we are at one of the highest employment rates that we've experienced most recently, one of the reasons, again, why we have lowered student loans, in many cases forgiven, is because of the policies that they voted for that he has passed. And he also has to talk about a clear vision. Why does he need to be in office for 4 more years? And I encourage him to really embrace the idea of providing pathways to citizenship for these undocumented individuals that have been here for decades, who have been paying.
There's a measles outbreak in a couple of the shelters here in the city of Chicago, at some of the migrant shelters. Just want to throw that out there. The kids are still in cages south of the border. There's still a border crisis there. Yeah. Democrats don't care about migrants. They don't care, okay? The liberal voting base doesn't care, okay? The hotbed. Remember, Martha's Vineyard, that hotbed of liberal soup, those are the people. Those are the people. I'm going to say it again. Those are the people that have signs in their house or on their refrigerator. Love is love. Hate isn't welcomed here. Everybody. Open borders. Everything's nice. The whole rainbow together. But as soon as the migrants were at the front doorstep, oh, hi, get off my front porch. You're lowering the property value. Never forget what Martha's Vineyard did. They were all like, hi, welcome. All right. F off now.
Taxes for decades. The news cycle has forgotten about these immigrants. They're the ones that, if you remember, was the reason the gang event came together in the first place. And it's time for young people to hear from the president why he's going to safeguard their loved ones. That in a place like Arizona, where he won by less than 11,000 votes, we're expecting 163,000 Latino youth who have already told Vote Latino that immigration is one of their top 3 issues.
Mm-hmm. So then, Cornell, whenever we talk about third-party candidates, it's always, who does the third-party candidate take away from? And as I mentioned earlier, some polling indicates that third-party candidates are more likely to hurt President Biden than Trump. Do you believe that's true?
Yeah, I mean, it's 2016 all over.
Yeah. Okay, 2016 all over again. No, it's not. This is a different election cycle, but we got 2020 being repeated again, and the American people don't want to see that. They still have PTSD from 2016, and you know what? I love it. And secretly, look, I mean, it would be a miracle if a third party candidate did win this election, but I don't see that happening. Ideally, I don't see it happening though. I would like to see all the third party candidates win at least one electoral college vote, but that probably won't happen either. But secretly, I gotta tell you, I am kind of hoping for another liberal meltdown like we saw in 2016. Where Trump wins the White House. I say this not supporting Trump, but I want to see the Democrat liberal base just cry again. There was something magical about that election night in 2016. It was just so reassuring and refreshing because I was given a warning. I was warning people like, hey, heads up, Trump might win this. And everyone's saying, oh, you're a Trump supporter. Oh, you hate women. I was like, no, hey, guys, just a heads up. He might actually win this. And I kind of want to relive that again, just to see the crying again, just so I could sit back, eat my ribeye steak, chew, have a sip of wine, smoke a bowl, and just be like, yep, I told you so.
Again, this is how Trump wins.
And does that make me a bad person? I don't really care.
Doesn't win by addition. He wins by subtraction. I know this is terrible, but I'm going to do math on your show.
So, as long as you're doing
Oh, hang on. Liberal math. Brace yourself, folks. You're going to lose some brain cells. Hard Lens Media is not responsible for you losing brain cells due to liberal math.
So go to Michigan in 2016. What did Donald Trump get? He got 47%. What did he get in 2020? He got 47% loss. The difference in Wisconsin, he got 48% in 2016. What did he get in 2020? He got 48% again and lost. The difference between Hillary's performance and Obama's performance in 2016 was almost directly in line with the percentage of those young voters who are voting third party. They're looking for their off ramp. Again, what do I think Donald Trump's going to get this time around? He's going to get somewhere between 47 and 48%. The difference is, can Biden pull back together that coalition? And like Maria was talking about, the totality of his agenda is interesting. That I think she's spot on, because I'm hearing the same thing in folks groups with young voters, hearing the same thing in folks groups with African-American voters. They don't know what Joe Biden has been doing for them, and they're frustrated and they're cynical. They're not voting for Donald Trump, but they're looking for an off-ramp, and these third-party candidates are that off-ramp.
I have a question for you. In these focus groups,
and it's fine if people want to vote third party. There's nothing wrong with that. How many times have we been disrespected by the Democrats? How many times did we hear from those who carried water for the Democrats saying, oh, we got to keep our powder dry. We got to be patient for the Democrats. We got to let them do things. We got to trust the process. How's that working out for you?
So you hear the expression of frustration. In those focus groups, does anyone say, well, but do you know about this? You know about this? You know about this?
What they say is, and it's funny because actually I should invite you to some of these folks groups.
Oh, please, I would love to. I'm serious.
No, I'm serious. We might do some next.
Ugh, God. Oh yeah, please invite me
next week. What you say is, when we give them a list, well, Joe Biden did an executive order to ban no knock warrants. Joe Biden did an executive order to ban chokeholds. Wait a minute, I don't know about this. If he's done these things, why haven't we heard about it? So Joe Biden.
And there's only so much I could stand of this too. So that's the warpath. Third parties are the great villain, the great enemy of the Democratic establishment, of the neoliberal system. Third parties are viewed as the end-all, be-all threat, the real bad guys that you got to keep your heads on a swivel on, because third parties are just there to help out Trump. No, the real truth, the real fact of the matter is that the Democrats and corporate media realize that voter enthusiasm is at an all-time low. People are not turning up to vote for these jagoff Democrats. People are not excited or believing the BS from the establishment system, and corporate media can do all it can to scream Trump, 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 Trump. But the only reason why everything was how it was because in 2016, look at that election cycle. You had the electrifying movement of Bernie Sanders, which we all found out later to be nothing more than a spineless, nutless wonder of a cuck. Okay, that's who Bernie is. And then, of course, you had Donald Trump and then Hill Dog. Everything was building up momentum, and people did not want to support Hillary Clinton, especially independents and third parties, and people were not excited for her. And, of course, that led to the election of Donald Trump. In 2020, everyone's still suffering from Trump derangement syndrome, had Biden in, but Biden turned out to be a senile old dog. And the great progressive movement that built from 2016 and in 2020 were going to bat and carrying water for a neoliberal Democrat who didn't follow through with any of his campaign promises. Yet AOC and Bernie were saying that he was exceeding expectations and he was a great guy. And now we see Trump once again running as we predicted that he would in 2020 after the 2020 election cycle, running again. He is beating Biden in key swing electoral college states, especially in 7 of them already. And now what's happening? The Democrats are panicking. The Democratic primary, lackluster, voter enthusiasm, all-time low. And so what do they have to do? They need to find a reason why things aren't going well for Biden. And they're going to blame independents and third parties. If you're voting third party and independent, do not be ashamed. I'm voting third party and independent, and I'm carrying on with the rest of my day. I don't care how the election turns out on election night in November. I don't care. What I do care about is what we do the day after, fighting for a better future. Because no matter who sits on the throne, nothing won't change until the people stand up and say enough.